What is up, Pyros? We're out here in Lawson, Missouri, shooting their YMCA Fundraiser shoot that I've shot last couple of years. It's actually about noon, so the golf tournament is beginning for the fundraiser. We're doing the 1-4, got on the plywood here, got it obviously laid out, got the little stickers, we got a couple of the 36Ms. They're actually getting, the other KCAP members, they are getting the 1-3, go out there, the 3s and 4s. Basically, you guys have always wanted to know, setup wise. For us, what we do is we obviously land them potentially before we take them out in the field. It'd be the best so you don't have to bend over and land them. And then we use the liquid nails, I believe it is, to attach them. Yeah, liquid nails, so that way they don't tip over. And then, we got more over here. So here's all the 500 gram cakes and 200 grams. The 200 grams are in the boxes there. And I think we got some good 1-3 shells. We're doing 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 8s, and 110 to actually end it out. So we'll get a little bit more into the setup once we get a little bit more done. Still a little early, so we'll see you all in a minute. So we just got the 200 grams landed to the Cobra. I do want to talk about this right here. Some people do use this when they're doing the Cobras, some don't. For me, when you have all these cords all over the place and people walking around, there is chances or potentiality that someone can yank a cord or pull a cord. If you don't twist it off right here, you have a chance of just ripping it out, getting it loose, or even destroying this whole 6-shot terminal. So I always ensure that we have this kind of crimped off, so if someone gets pulled, it's gonna try to unravel this before it rips out of here. So I always recommend, if you are using a Cobra, try to make it a little bit cleaner. And at nighttime, you just walk your way down, pulling twigs out, and just pull it out pretty quick. I know they have this quick inserts versions of Cobras, but then you're kind of held to only getting igniters from Cobra, so it's kind of a monopoly. So haven't switched over those completely yet. We have a whole carload full of the shells still need to be loaded. And it's about 2 o'clock, so I'm really excited, Pyros. Really do hope you enjoy this setup video. I do want to let you know that Pyromania is up and coming September 21st. So in honor of that, or in getting geared up for that, because obviously I get a lot of videos when I head out to Pyromania, I plan on releasing either 2 or 3 demo videos a week from here on out, all the way until Pyromania. And then obviously the week after Pyromania, I'll probably release a good amount of videos there. This September, I plan on releasing a lot more videos than I normally will, and that's because I have a lot more product and shows to show you guys. So I want to make sure to ask in the comment section down below. I would like to know, during the setup video, what are you most intrigued to learn about, see? What questions do you have? I want to kind of know what you guys would like to see. I want to make sure you kind of know how to do all of this stuff if you plan on escalating up to this kind of level, or if you have any questions, or if you have any better additions, I want to hear those as well. So please, down in the comment section down below this video, make sure you ask me any questions about the setup, or request any potential setup parts of the show you would like to see. I know one thing I haven't really shown is the cleanup, and that's because after you shoot the show, you really don't want to record as you're ripping everything out, getting it cleaned up, tired, and you want to get home. So I guess we will wait until we're out in the field, start landing some 1-3. All right, Pyros, see you in the field.
Now we're out here at the 5-inch shells. We have them all dropped, and we're tying them off and landing them right now. Now I do want to talk about the tying off. Now if you notice, they're all tied to their individual tubes, and that is because when that shell leaves, there is a chance that E-match can go up with the shell, and we don't want it ripping out any other wires or destroying the Cobra module in the process, to where the rest of the shells in that mod will actually not ignite. Now the reason why you tie it off at this specific way with this little loop knot is that way at the end of the night when you're cleaning up, obviously you want to do it quick and easy. You just pull it right here and it unravels it, and you're able to clean that wire from that tube. Here you'll take a look at the carpet mask, so to prevent any water from getting on the shells or getting down the tube when it's possibly raining like it did that day, you put them on the actual racks about a foot below the edge of the rack, so that way the wind doesn't rip them off. But when the show time comes, obviously it's going to have that shell rip right through that, no problem. Now we're back at the 8-inch shells, so we had 7 of them. You'll see this one here is a young Feng. We had 3 young Feng, and then I think it was 4 of the FX that we got from Aerial FX out in St. Joseph, Missouri. With the 8-inch shells, since we didn't bury them, we had them in 4 pod racks. We actually had to brace them to ensure that they don't tip or roll over on that first shell, second or third, so that way the fourth will still go upright. So we have it braced in opposite directions on both ends, and then we have them actually braced together with two different boards, so that way we ensure that it will go up. Now you'll see the plastic wrap was on here. We had that because it was raining before we loaded the shells. We didn't want to have any water obviously get down in there before we load the actual shells. And you will see any shell bigger than an 8-inch will have usually rope attached to it, so you can do just that right there, safely load it down. Now this brand did not have long enough string, so you had to still lower the shell down slowly, so that way you don't have any premature ignition. Now you'll see they are tying it off over on the left side, so basically you pull out the string after you push through the hole, and you loop the end that you're going to plug into the Cobra mod or any module through it, and that way is a quick tie off. As you can see, there's another way of doing it as well. And again, that ensures the shell goes up with the match. If it does, it rips it off at that point. It doesn't take it out of the mod or destroy anything else. So with the E-match, obviously these ones, you have them in kind of coiled up. You want to string them out. You plug them into the port. You never want to drop a shell this size without having that E-match on it. And that's just because there's no way you can do it with the short extenders that they have on the quick match of these shells. And since these are the Young Feng 8-inch shells, they have rope that lets you drop it all the way down without having to stick your hand over the tube itself. And I typically tie it off around the E-match just in case that shell doesn't go and the igniter's bad. You'll be able to easily grab that rope and pull out that shell if you absolutely had to. Now again, with 8-inch shells, they're obviously a lot bigger than your typical 175 consumer, so we have to have a lot of distances. I don't know if I got a full view, but I think we're about 700-800 feet back from the audience, and that's for the fallout range in case any embers on any of the paper or components of the fireworks shell are still ignited when they touch the ground. They don't land on your crowd or anywhere else that you don't want them to land. Now again, we're tying them off to securely make sure that they don't rip out any other matches, so that way we don't have to relaunch an 8-inch shell after the show's over, because that's one of the worst things for a pyro. When you have such a nice big shell and you can't ignite it during the show and you have to shoot it when there's no audience, it's always frustrating. So that's why we tie them off, to ensure that every shell goes up if we have the 100% fire, or at least hope to ensure you get 100% fire. Now you did see it took a while to get this shell loaded we're doing right now, and that was because the tube at the very top was warped a little bit, which you do tend to happen when you're using these big shells. They warp the tubes a lot quicker compared to your consumer 1.75 mortar tube. I did ask in the comment section down below if you had any questions. I would definitely want to know your techniques. If you set up your 8-inch shells or any of your 1.3 shells any differently, I definitely want to hear your technique, or see if you have any questions about the way that we do it. Again, these are another one of those that had the short string, so fortunately you kind of have to stick your hand briefly over it. Just be very careful and cautious, because if this were to go off, even if it went up, you would basically be deaf for the rest of your life. So we hope that never occurs, but you always got to plan for it. So ensure you're as safe as you possibly can be, because you never want to get injured doing something you love or enjoy. And of course, just like the other shells, we did put carpet mask on it to ensure no water gets on them. Now you can see here, there's a big long roll of carpet mask is normally what it comes in. It's very expensive, I think $50 or $60 a roll. So we want to use it gingerly, but at the same time we want to make sure it covers the entire width of the tube or diameter, so that way no water gets in on the shells and possibly ruins the shell. Now we're on to the 10-inch shell. Since we only had one shell and we're on a golf course and didn't want us to bury it and ruin obviously the green, we decided to put it in a 55-gallon drum with sand to safely secure the mortar to fire this 10-inch Young Feng shell. So here it is. It was a Nishiki Kimura with blue and golden strobe with double pistols. It looked awesome, and you will definitely see in the video tomorrow why. Just like Young Feng's 8-inch shells, they have nice long rope attached to it, so you can securely and safely load it down all the way to the end without actually having to stick your arm in the tube when you're loading that 10-inch shell. Now we do tie it off just like we did the other shells to ensure that it doesn't rip out the match. Again, I know I say a lot, but I want to make sure you guys do follow that practice.
Alright, Pyro, so we just got the 1.3 finished. As you can tell, storm's rolling in. The reason why we do the carpet mask is for this reason right here. When it shoots that shell tonight, it's going to go right through that plastic, but at the same time we don't have the shell getting destroyed. So that's the reason why we do the carpet mask, because why do all the work to set up a show and have the rain destroy it? So, and then we got the tin sand in, one big old Young Feng tin. So we have 4 SF, which is from Aerial FX Fireworks out in St. Joe, and then we have 3 Young Feng, so we have 3 8s, and 110 young Feng. As you guys know, those are probably the best shells in the market. You can get 1.3 or at least damn near close to it. So those are going to hit harder than the shell size they are. So that 8 should probably hit like a 10, and that 10 should probably hit like a 12. We'll get a little bit closer to the rest of the shells as we walk up the field. All right, so we're up to the 6s. So we have 18 6s. We have the last one in there, supposed to be, I think it's color chrysanthemum with reports, number 18 in there on the back. Here's all the 5s. I think there's 60 5-inch shells. And then as we get a little bit closer, there's all the mods. So 4 mods for 60 shells. Obviously 18 Qs and a mod. And we have 60. So we had to use 1 extra mod back there. We'll get up here to the 3s and 4s. So we have a case of 3s, so 72 shells, and then a case of 4, 36 each, so another 72. I want to say this is the smallest amount of salutes I've ever shot in a 1.3 show before. We only have 12, and they're actually right here. We have 12 salutes and 6 color. It's going to be towards the end barrage, and then up front, you can see them kind of staking down the gas mines. So I'm really excited to get to those, but yeah, we got 72 3s and 4s, 72 color shells, 12 3-inch salutes, and then 72 color 4-inch shells. Get a bit closer to these gas mines up here as we get closer. And then we don't have the 1.4 out yet. The 1.4 is going to go right behind, right by that fire extinguisher, that fire extinguisher, and this fire extinguisher. So we'll get those out here. Obviously it's raining. 1.4, we don't like to have it out here since we don't have the carpet mask to put over top of it. But the gas mines here, so we got 4. Forgot what type of fuel those are. Those aren't, or it's actually 5. The silver ones, those are 1 gallons. Okay, 1 gallons. So we have 5 1 gallon, 3 of the 3 gallons, 1, 2, and 3. It's hidden behind the silver one. And up front, we're testing a 5 gallon fireball. So at Pyromania this year, we are shooting a closing display for it. The KCAP group is. And we plan on having 10 of those. So that's why we're testing it out here, to ensure how much of a spread it will put off, to see the spacing that we would need to put for Pyromania. Because here the spread, I mean, we're probably looking about 200-300 feet maybe at the most as far as the across spreads left and right. We could obviously go a lot further, but we don't. We got houses over there, so we got to stay the distances. And we just, you know, kind of want it centralized with all the mods and all the locations. But that 5 right there, figure at Pyromania, the front field from left to right where there's actual product is about 500-600 feet. So we got to make sure these 10 5-gallon gasoline fireballs put enough flame in the air to cover the entire field from left to right towards the end of our shell.
Now I didn't get to show you the 1.4 actually laid out in the field, so that's all I have for the setup video. I did want to show you the 5-inch shells that actually didn't go. Surprisingly, we actually had 6 of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 5-inch shells, probably 75 feet away. And Pyros, I will see you all tomorrow.
Burn hole.
That was a thumper. Love the echo right now. Last but not least, that last one.